Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be doing a review of The Black Coats by Colleen Oakes. So this book follows a girl called Thea, and at the beginning of the story we find out that her cousin Natalie has been murdered. Or she was murdered a while ago, I think about 10 years ago. And then Thea gets the opportunity to join a organisation called the Black Coats, which are a vigilante justice group that sole purpose is to get justice for the way women have been treated badly by men. And so Thea joins this group and she trains under the Black Coats, and they go out and do these punishments. They're called balancings. I thought this was going to be, when I first heard about this, I thought it was going to be a bit like Scythe by Neil Schusterman, which it is in ways, but the whole point of the Black Coats organisation is that one of the rules is that they don't kill the men that they are targeting. Basically, like I said, it's all about justice and vigilantism. And I think this is, it's a very important premise and stuff, especially recently with the whole Me Too movement and things like that. And that's why I enjoyed reading it. So, yeah, like I said, the story follows Thea, and she goes to this kind of like school, like a training program for the Black Coats. And basically, there's also in her group, there's 3 groups of like vigilantes, and in her group is 4 other girls, and as you read the story, you find out why they have reasons to want to have joined the Black Coats, which I think was very clever. That was like dotted throughout as the balancings were happening. And then there's also characters in here who are like, they're kind of like the leaders, like the teachers of these groups of Black Coats, but they're kind of like matriarchal. There's one called Nixon who is in charge of Team Banner, which is the team that Thea joins, and she is just, at the beginning of the book, she's a bit of a bitch, and she's very stoic, and she's very stubborn, and she's very direct, but as you read, you kind of become more sympathetic towards her, and by the end, I just loved her. And there's also two other very strong, very powerful women in this book called McKinley and Julie Westing, and another one called McKinley. And yeah, like I said, they all train these different groups of Black Coats, and they're all very matriarchal and very stoic, strong, powerful women. And I think that's the whole idea of the book. The author says that she got the idea for this book when she was driving through Nebraska, and on this long country road she saw an abandoned black coat on the side of the road, and apparently that sparked off lots of ideas in her head about what this story could be, and that's how she came up with the story, which I think is a good story, a good kind of starting point to creating this story. But like I said, for me, it's more about kind of like, the whole premise of the book is the vigilante justice for these women who have been abused by men, as I keep saying. But, I'm going to keep saying it because it's important in today's climate, and it's also important in the story. And I think that's why I liked this book, and that's why I connected with sorry, something keeps happening on my screen. And that's why I connected with the characters so much, is because they've all been wronged by men, but the whole premise is that they don't kill the men, that they are tasked to dole out these punishments to. They basically punish them in ways to ensure that they never do the crimes that they are doing again, which is interesting. I'm not going to give too much away by telling you anything about these crimes that these men have committed, but it's an interesting spin on the story. And yeah, I just thought this book was brilliant. And like I said, I think I connected with the main characters so much because they get injustice. They're not just going out and killing these men, because that will be senseless, even though that's probably what some of them deserve. There are a few trigger warnings in here, very light trigger warnings for like rape and sexual assault and child abuse. As I say, very light because it's only touched on as we discover what these men have done and why they're being punished. And yeah, that's why I connected with the characters so much. And I just love this book. I thought at the end it got a bit action heavy. Like, I liked the action, and it got to a pivotal point. And as soon as it got to that point, this book's like 375 pages, and at kind of like the 325 page mark, I was like, okay, this is very action heavy right now, which is fine. It was a good ending, but I just thought it was just a touch too up there. So I ended up giving this a 4.25, which I haven't done for a while. I haven't given a book a point rating, like 0.25 or whatever. I usually rate it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. But yeah, like I said, it was extremely good. But it's only getting a 4.25 because the ending was so action heavy, and I thought it was a little unnecessary. It could have been dulled down a lot. But yeah, still a great book. I devoured it. I read it in, I don't know, like 5 hours, which for me is pretty good. And I basically read it constantly, which is also a sign of a good story. I think, as I say all the time, when I read books, the mark of a good book for me is if, when I'm reading it, I can picture it, like, in my mind, or like as a movie, or something like that. And I think this, directed by someone like Tim Burton, or a good female director who kind of gets the premise, would be amazing. I think Tim Burton would be the best to direct this if it was ever adapted, because some of the descriptions of like the environments and the clothing that the girls wear is brilliant. Yeah, so like I said, great book, 4.25. Sorry. Sorry about that. You saw me sneeze on camera, that's never happened, but anyway. Wow, that was a big sneeze. Yeah, 4.25, great book, pick it up. If you've read it, you can chat to me about it in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you wish, you may subscribe. And I will see you all again very soon. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.